What's going on YouTube, man? For real reacts back with another reaction video, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for clicking on this video. Thank you so much. Today we're gonna be reacting to the inside the Titanic sub disaster. Now this been like a big trend on TikTok everywhere, bro. Like this has just been like a worldwide viral thing, you know what I'm saying? So I seen this while I was scrolling, you know what I'm saying, and I just wanted to see what they're talking about here and what actually is going on. All I know that basically what I take it is as 4 or 5 people paid $250,000 to get in a submarine to go see the Titanic and come back. They had like a PS4 controller controlling the submarine with screens, like 2 screens and 1 window, whatever. I mean, it's 5 people in like a small submarine. It's just a lot. It was a lot to me. So I want to get information on this. Y'all comment, put y'all info on it, and let's get straight into it. I'm not gonna talk your head off, man.
Catastrophic implosion. The unthinkable became all too real this past week as we learned of the fate of undersea explorer Stockton Rush's Titan submersible on its way to the Atlantic grave of the Titanic. The questions, the second guessing, David Pogue tells us, are likely to continue for a long time to come.
Last summer, a company called OceanGate invited Sunday Morning to join an expedition to the Titanic. At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole world knows now, OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives.
Look, we're sitting on the Titanic. Yeah, on the Titanic.
Bro, so wait, they made it to the Titanic? Let me keep watching.
$50,000 a ticket on a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible called the Titan.
Carbon fiber is a great material. It's better than titanium. It's better than a lot of other materials.
This is Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate and the designer of the sub. Last Sunday,
so he designed the submarine. So
to the Titanic.
That dude, he designed the submarine. So I also heard that, you know what I'm saying, they can't find the people. They can't find the people. Like, nobody was found. And they found, I don't know if they found the submarine, but they didn't find the people. So shouldn't he know where they're at this current moment? I don't know, bro.
Imploded, killing him and his 4 passengers.
Oh my gosh.
We spent 9 days at sea with Rush last summer, and in wake of the tragic news, we thought you might like to see more of what we saw and hear more of what Stockton Rush said.
The Titan wasn't like any previous deep-sea submersible. There was no dashboard, just a touchscreen computer and a single power button.
We only have 1 button, that's it.
Wait a minute, I've seen submersibles, and they are banks of controls, like cockpit after cockpit.
Exactly, and this is to other submersibles what the iPhone was to the BlackBerry.
But many of its components
He
seemed
think he got it put
surprisingly
together
cheap.
too.
For views outside the sub, he had installed store-bought security cameras. As for the ceiling lights,
I got these from Camper World.
then there was the steering unit.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! So, it seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that not raise anybody's eyebrows in the industry?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know keeps asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub?
Exactly.
Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the credentials. He majored in aerospace engineering at Princeton. He designed and flew his own airplanes. He designed previous submersibles. Second, he was emphatic that the important parts of the Titan were rock solid, like the carbon fiber body for which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want.
So how did it end up? I don't know. I feel like that's set up. in my eyes. I don't know, bro. Y'all put how y'all feel in here, man. Y'all put how y'all feel for real, cause this is like crazy.
Button down.
Like I didn't know the
Once a pressure
background.
vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go. You're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargelet, the veteran deep-sea explorer.
Wait, so did he
who
go to
also
jail?
perished in the Titan. Over the years, he'd been to the Titanic more than just about anyone.
How many times have you been?
With the last dive, 37 times.
You've been to the Titanic 37 times?
Yes. I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs.
How different is the Titan from those other subs?
Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I had a phone call with Stockton, and he explained to me that he was doing a lot of tests. He showed me the ways they were building the stuff. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem to dive in the sub.
I was also impressed by the sub's 7 redundant systems for returning to the surface.
These are roll weights. We can actually roll this up and those come off. That gains us some buoyancy to come back to the surface. Okay. These triple weights, we call them, are hydraulically driven.
Expedition manager Kyle Bingham.
Underneath this tray hang these bags. We're around 35 pounds. And those hang down there. Typical dive will have 8 of them. We can also use our thrusters. We have enough power to thrust back up.
So they
and
didn't
then under
have.
this last fairing here,
They didn't have communication throughout this whole process. I'm just confused on like how. I'm shell shocked, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to figure out.
have our variable ballast tank or soft ballast. It's an air bladder that we use a big 10,000 psi air tank that's under the tail to fill that up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out. Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
So you have a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup.
Correct.
All stations are reporting the dive is go. Please stand by.
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were checklists, inspections before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule. If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive. I learned that the hard way on our own dive.
We're in the water. We're floating.
Woo! At this point, divers are supposed to detach the sub from its launch platform. So apparently those floats there came off the platform and that wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I never did see the Titanic, and I wasn't unusual. In OceanGate's first 2 summers of Titanic operations, it spent a total of 50 days floating above the shipwreck site. But because of waves, bad weather, and malfunctions, the Titan actually made it to the Titanic only 12 times. But through it all, Stockton Rush defended his unconventional approach.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX. Inside the box, everything's scary.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design. A former employee says that when he raised safety concerns, Rush fired him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification of the Titan by a safety agency. Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
At some point, safety just is pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything. Yeah. At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk-reward question. I said, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules.
So, Captain McLaren, have you spent much time in submarines?
David, my total time under the water, divorced from the outside atmosphere, is a little over 5 3/4 years. No kidding. Fact.
Retired U.S. Navy submarine captain Alfred McLaren is not impressed by OceanGate's innovations.
I mean, would you fly in an airplane and somebody excitedly tell you, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper because we found a new way of attaching the wings? Yeah, right.
He theorizes that the Titan failed not because it was made of carbon fiber, but because it was made of 3 dissimilar materials: carbon fiber, titanium, and plexiglass for the porthole.
When you have different materials, different molecular structure, they have different coefficients of expansion and compression, and then you make repeated cycles in depth, of course you're going to work that seal loose. And that's why your submarines don't run around.
Yeah, okay. So I just got from that. That was crazy. So it was because of the certain materials that was made, the submarine was made out of. That's crazy. That's an old school ship that they're showing. These is like, he's saying it's different materials that you're supposed to use in different compression situations. That junk is deep.
It's a weak point.
It's deep.
I think there's a great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram.
In an interview with Anderson Cooper, filmmaker and veteran Titanic diver James Cameron pointed out a sad parallel between Stockton Rush and the captain of the Titanic.
The arrogance and the hubris that sent that ship to its doom is exactly the same thing that sent those people in that sub to their fate.
The world mourns the loss of Stockton Rush, P.H. Nargeolet, and their 3 passengers, British billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman Jazada Dawood, and his son Suleiman. Already there's talk of restrictions and regulations and lawsuits. Will the OceanGate disaster mean fewer people going adventuring? Well, every year people do die skydiving and scuba diving and climbing Mount Everest. Tragic every time, and yet people still keep coming. Some people just have that itch. For them, danger is the point. The risk of dying gives meaning to living. I think Stockton Rush was among them.
I wanted to be sort of the Captain Kirk. I didn't want to be the passenger in the back. And I realized that the ocean is the universe. That's where life is.
True. Well, man, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you, man. That was deep. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at the end, you know, people die from these tragic things, but I feel like that submarine should have just been very, very more supported than it was. At the end of the day, it don't even matter that materials and none of that. Like, how was y'all communicating to people at bay but I guess that was the point. Like, they didn't really care. They didn't really, but it was an experiment. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you. Hit that like button if you ain't hit that like button. Subscribe if you're a new viewer, man. And, yeah, I'm going to catch y'all in the next episode. We gone.